Crypto payments just hit a record high, yet crypto prices, XRP, Bitcoin continue to lag. Plus, a urgent update on what's happening between the US and Iran. Are things about to kick off or are things about to be cool sailing from here? And we're going to get a deal very, very soon. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. Right now, XRP is sitting at $1.32. XRP is down minus 0.67% on the day. Nothing too drastic. The crypto market, again, another day of basically a little bit up, a little bit down for the crypto market. Bitcoin sitting at 74,853. Ethereum holding the 2,000 level, down 1%. Solana also down 0.36% on the day. XRP continues with this, you could call it sideways consolidation, the spring tightening for the potential, move up. If there is a move up once Clarity Act passed, right? Knock on wood. And so we continue to watch what's happening with the Clarity Act. Interestingly, we did get one of the oscillators changing to a buy, right? So of course, all the moving averages are sell. If you look at the graph, it's easy to understand that. But one of the oscillators, interesting momentum on the 10-day actually flipped to a blue. So that's why we have a sell instead of a strong sell. But we know that many times when we are at this a strong sell in all of them, all the moving averages, the different kinds, right, are in the sell zone, that's usually an indicator to us that we're close to a flipperoo. Doesn't mean that that's going to happen, but that's just something that I have seen in the past, that when we go extreme to one direction, the flipperoo, right? Is it a new term, right? I'm terming that the phrase flipperoo. But when we do see a flipperoo, then it is, it could be 20, 30, 40% on that flipperoo. So we'll see. And maybe we get those green juicy candles that all of you like, right? I know that green juicy candles are much better than choppiness or red candles. That's what that's what gets you all excited. It could have got a little bit, adult there with the juicy candle, but we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Sometimes I know you guys watch with your kids, so I don't know what I can say and what I can't. It will be very interesting to see how this plays out. Now, before we get to what is going on with Iran and Trump, I wanted to bring you this, and you could look at this beautiful green graph, right? So here we see those big juicy candles. Cumulative crypto card payment volumes have reached a record 7.8 billion, with monthly volumes now up 230% since May of 2025. Crypto card adoption has rapidly accelerated in 2026 due to growing access to stablecoin as a payment rail through crypto cards. This is very, very interesting. Not only that, but you can actually use ChatGPT now through MoonPay to purchase with cryptocurrency. You can use XRP, you can use Solana, you can use, you can see here, your Solana via MoonPay or your XRP via MoonPay. This is now available, so you can now have an AI agent working for you and purchasing your crypto for you. So that's another thing that has been added. But if we go back to the crypto card adoption, more people can now spend stable coins like fiat by using crypto cards, further driving adoption. The growth comes amid the launch of Jupiter Global, which has seen 648 surge in spending volume over the last 2 months. And Visa is also capturing 90% of the on-chain card transactions via crypto-native infrastructure partners like Jupiter Global. Crypto cards are the ultimate use case for stablecoins. And if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that my theory is that stablecoins is going to be the gateway for regular Joes and Janes that don't even know what crypto is to enter the crypto market once they see it's not that big bad wolf like Senator Warren warns about. Then they could start, doing the research and checking out other assets and where they could potentially, maybe move some of their assets in their retirement accounts or their 401ks or things like that. And then, especially baby boomers, they got all that dough, right, that has been accumulating from that compound interest all those years. And so potentially that some of that could come into the crypto market. It will be very interesting to see how that is going to play out over the next coming years. Do we see a shift into the stable coin market and that bring in people towards the, you can call it quote unquote regular crypto market, not stable coins. So that's going to be interesting. Before we continue, I just want to remind you that this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Also, remember that I will never contact you on social media asking to sign up to anything or to send me any money. Those are scammers, those are imposters. Please, please, please be very careful out there. Okay. So, this is what President Trump just said.
People understand it. They know that, very simple, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I'm doing that for the world. I'm not doing it just for us. And we've had great support from other nations, by the way. We don't need it at all, but we've had great support from other nations. The problem is you always get the support when you don't need it. When you need it, you don't get the support. With Operation Epic Fury, our warriors are ensuring that the world's #1 state sponsor of terror never obtains a nuclear weapon, and they won't. People understand it. They know that.
So this is one of the, it's one of the top things that President Trump wants is no nuclear weapon. And that's why I'm getting less and less confident as the days go by that something is going to get signed, because I don't think they're going to, right now, where they are, I don't think that they're going to agree to that. And you can see here, according to the Hormuz letter, it says breaking Iran leaks that Trump will unilaterally declare the US-Iran agreement finalized in the coming hours as a pressure tactic before all disputes are resolved. Per informed source inside the negotiation team, via Fars, it's the Iranian media, Iran says the framework remains blocked by major unresolved issues and rejects any Trump announcement as a pressure tactic. So basically what they're saying is Trump is going to say the deal is done, even though it's not done. And then they are going to, have no choice but to sign the deal. I don't know if that will work, right? Because I don't think that they're going to. There's a few things they're talking about the Abraham Accords, but I don't think those countries. I mean, they're not part of the deal, so I don't know how they would. The Turkey and Saudi Arabia and all that, and Iran, of course. And I don't see them releasing, that possibility. So right now it looks like they're far apart, but Trump is saying that he might lift the sanctions on Iran. And listen, the situation in Iran economically is dire, right? They were already in a bad situation before the war started. And now that they have the Hormuz blocked off and you had, the US military with that blockade, they had money that was coming in from China and from other countries, Russia, that is not coming in anymore via oil or via the Hormuz, right? Maybe other ways, but that's a lot less. And they have a bad situation. Their people are, suffering economically, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. So what do? It doesn't seem that they're budging. You know that Trump cares about the yields, right? We've seen this before. He cares about the stock market. He cares about crypto. But their government, the IRGC, the government there, they don't care about their people. They don't care about their economy. If they did, they wouldn't get into this situation and do all the things that they have been doing, right? They care about a few specific things that I don't want to get into right now because that's a totally different video. But if we're just talking about economies and what they've done, they've basically ruined their economy. And the sanctions have not helped, right? So if they do get the sanctions lift, that could be a significant fuel into their country, right? Remember, many countries in Europe and South America and in Asia can't do business with them because of the sanctions. But once it gets opened up, suddenly they'll have dollars flowing in, and that could potentially help their currency. So this is going to be a very interesting situation, how this plays out over the next coming days, and we will see what eventually Trump does. We thought over the weekend that it would get, done over the weekend. That never happened. But maybe he's going to announce it in the next few hours. We get a pop, but then a drop. So just be very careful out there. I don't know what's going to happen, but this is going to be a very interesting 24, 48 hours to see how all of this plays out. Do we actually get a deal, or do we start the fighting back up? Like everybody where I am right now, we're on pins and needles because we don't know what's going to happen. Yes, no. Should I make plans? Should I not make plans? Can I book a vacation? Can I not book a vacation? What's going to happen? All kinds of things like that we don't know, right? You don't know. Will the sky be closed again? Will the airlines come back? We don't know, right? So it's a tricky situation, and we're going to have to see how this plays out. Of course, anything detrimental we've seen recently, the bad news makes XRP, makes crypto drop, and good news doesn't really move the needle. This is how it is when there's not a lot of liquidity, when there's not a lot of interest in a specific assets. Sometimes it happens in the crypto market. We've seen this before, and then suddenly money starts flowing in and assets start moving. We had one day that things were kind of moving, and then it leveled out a little bit. You remember, near protocol ran up there, and then it came back. But there are some movers like XLM up 8% today. Interesting. So there are movers, there are shakers. There are some things that are moving. ICP up 7%. It was up around 10%, but pull back. There's always going to be something that has maybe what was that? XLM. Maybe there was some news. After DTCC and Stellar move, so there must be something with the DTCC. So again, there's always opportunities. There are always things that are happening in the market, and it's our job to take advantage of them. Again, if you want to take advantage using leverage, our partner BTCC will give you the opportunity to do so. We have a promotion going on right now that you can sign up and get VIP status. It's only to the end of the month, but I'm going to try to get this prolonged. And you can see here, 1 million, you get $80, 20 million, you get 1,600 USDT bonus. So check it out in the description down below. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.